So at this point with the story of Black Clover, the progression of Noelle is uncanny. This is a character that has developed so tremendously over the course of the series and only continues to do so. Most recently in the form of Spirit Dive. With this video, we will be going over everything we know about this new power of hers in detail. So first and foremost, what is Spirit Dive? Well, this is a form of spirit magic that serves to further augment the magical power of a user by a considerable degree, wherein spirit and practitioner join as one. This being a power we have seen from the likes of as well. In fact, one might argue that this brand of spirit assimilation itself was invented by You see, for the sake of traversing the ultimate volcano, what is a grand magic zone, a natural region absolutely teeming with incredibly strong mana, the use of a technique ever common to the Magic Knights, Mana Skin, is ideal. Now, albeit a very basic form of reinforcement magic, its maintenance in this case was certainly an arduous task given the severity of the elements and longevity of its use, thus making it the ideal training for proper mana control. With this experience, figured out how to hold vast amounts of mana within himself by combining with Sylph, the Wind Spirit, a technique that he'd refined to the point where he was pretty much evenly matched in power against a Magic Knight captain, Captain Rill of the Aqua Deer. But how exactly does this apply to Noelle? Well, Noelle was present for both of these instances. In the early days of the series, mana control was something she especially struggled with, and so this use of Mana Skin, albeit difficult for her, was again an incredible means of training that she especially benefited from. In fact, it was from this point onwards that Noelle truly began to make use of her overwhelming potential and began making her way into that upper echelon of combatants in the series. Furthermore, Noelle was on the very same team as during the unveiling of his Spirit Dive technique, and furthermore contemplated its power after the fact. But obviously without the presence of an ever rare spirit within one's grimoire, the emulation of such a technique is all but impossible. So from there, we are then brought to Noelle's first encounter with Vanica of the Dark Triad. In this fight, Noelle was way out of her depth and completely outmatched. And so to make up for this while working in tandem with the power of Lolopechka, Noelle made use of what is known as Valkyrie armor, mermaid form, what provided a power boost to Noelle's magic and a subsequent increase to her aquatic traversal. But because its transformation was dependent on Lolopechka's magic, mana method and mana zone, water spirit magic, ludic sanctuary, this was not a power that Noelle could depend on beyond this one instance. But even then, although Noelle was empowered here, all of her attacks were negated, and even in the event of a direct hit, they were meaningless against Vanica as they did not provide any true damage to her. I mean, the truly terrifying thing about such high-ranking devils and those that they possess is that they are all but infallible to your standard forms of magic. This is why arcane stage mages, those capable of uncategorical or inexplicable spells, are especially dangerous to them. Which is precisely why when Nero, an arcane stage mage, attempted to seal Vanica, Magecula intervened immediately with an influx of power. In doing so, Undyne, the water spirit, was cursed as well. Something Magecula, the mother of all curses, would express a fascination towards, as she had never seen such a thing, which stands to say that something of this sort had never happened before. But because of this, Undyne was weakened and by extension, her contract with Lolopechka dissolved as well. And so in a desperate attempt to regain her strength, she entered the grimoire of another worthy mage in the vicinity, Noelle. Which, although unbeknownst to Noelle at the time, was evident by way of her final attack on Vanica, which was in fact a direct hit, and one that Vanica expected to be as negligible as all the rest. Yet this damage she had suffered was the real deal, as it was somewhat infused with spirit magic, therefore making this spirit water magic. And from here, Noelle would further cultivate this power in Elysia under the tutelage of Dryad and the Elves. Here, she would extend her bounds beyond true magic and enter the realm of ultimate magic, and by extension come to understand and harness the essence of magic itself. But even beyond this, she would come to harness the power of the ever-exclusive Saint stage of magic, a power limited to spirit hosts that allows one to purify malice and destroy devils. And with this power, in her rematch against Vanica, Noelle came to harness what we now know to be Spirit Dive Saint Valkyrie armor. This is by far Noelle's most powerful transformation yet, and a truly remarkable one at that. If Yuno's partial Spirit Dive was enough to rival a Magic Knight captain, I can safely say that Noelle is beyond captain level at this point. Noelle as a royal is a character that has always possessed ridiculous mana reserves inherently. Her mother, Ashir Silva, being one of the strongest mages in history. I mean, she was knocking Mereo Leona around back in the day. Beyond that, by way of true magic mastery, Noelle is now able to draw upon natural mana beyond herself, which makes that pool of power only that much greater. And lastly, there is the addition of Undyne and Spirit Dive, causing the two to join as one. Now, when it comes to spirits, their size is indicative of their power. Both Sylph and Salamander have grown over the course of the series, and Undyne is massive. This is a spirit that has been growing alongside the Heart Kingdom's queens since the country's establishment. So yeah, the power she possesses is major. So major in fact that this rematch between the two was like night and day. Noelle was now dismissing each and every one of Vanica's attempts at retaliation with ease and managed to take her down at 100% power in a matter of 30 seconds. Now, not a character ever informed in all devilish matters quantify the Dark Triad at 100% power to be on par with the power of high-ranking devils. So for Noelle to have pulled this off in such a short span of time stands to place her amongst the strongest characters in the entire series, truly rivaling the likes of Yuno and Asta. Now, something to take note of would be that, as explained by Dryad, Saint Stage has the power to not only destroy devils, but eliminate malice. And as we see with the defeat of Vanica, suddenly, concepts such as friendship began to spring up in her head. And so it is quite possible that Noelle also somewhat purified Vanica's corrupted heart. And for as amazing as all this may be, if Undyne returns to Lolopechka, Noelle will likely suffer a bit of an unfortunate regression. And so it is my belief that Noelle will in fact remain as Undyne's host after all this is said and done. And I say this because even if Lolopechka survives beyond being transformed into a devil, it is possible that similarly to Patry, her magic will be changed forever, as his was forever changed to demon light magic. It is clear that a spirit cannot reside in the grimoire of just anyone, and in seeing the state Undyne was left in with exposure to Megecula's devil magic, I doubt they would still possess a favorable compatibility. And clearly Lolopechka can now perform some attack spells of her own that are ridiculously powerful, so she wouldn't really need that protectorate as much. Now, as made evident by Fauna's use of Salamander, even if a host is not in their right mind or afflicted with something, a spirit may still serve them, but with how diametrically opposed spirits and devils seem to be, a renewed connection is doubtable. But I will admit that for the Clover Kingdom to possess 3 of the 4 great spirits is a bit unfair, but whatever, that's shonen for you. Noelle is truly a remarkable character and certainly deserving of my favoritism. As it currently stands, this power is something she is only able to maintain for a single minute, but with all that she is able to do in that time, it is more than enough, and I'm sure that she will only progress even further from here. With that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more in-depth videos on Black Clover like this, be sure to let us know down below, and subscribe to Plot Armor with notifications on. You can also find us over on Twitter and Instagram at PlotArmorYT, where you'll have access to all the latest and greatest anime and manga news, memes, and information, because when it comes to bringing you some of the best Black Clover content on the platform, Plot Armor has you covered. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.